Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Warriors fans are highly anticipated for the start of the NBA regular season, and a victory over the rival Los Angeles Lakers would be a great way to build confidence and reach the playoffs and then pursue a championship. The team is good, despite having many veterans, but also has talented youngsters. And certainly one player who is in excellent form but unfortunately injured is Moses Moody. Despite the absence of Moses Moody, DeAnthony Melton, and Alex Tui, Coach Steve Kerr expects Butler and Jonathan Kuminga to play, as both are listed as probable. Warriors are all set to open the season against the Lakers on Tuesday. It's official, the Golden State Warriors have released their opening night roster that will face the Los Angeles Lakers on Tuesday, October 21st. A total of 17 players, 14 full-time, 3 on two-way deals, will be on hand for Steve Kerr and his coaching staff. However, this is most likely not the final makeup of the roster, at least for the first half of the regular season. The recently waived Seth Curry, who was on an Exhibit 9 contract, essentially a training camp contract, is planning to rejoin the team down the line, most likely on November 12. The date when they can sign a 15th full-time player to their roster. All of this is due to the fact that the Warriors, hard-capped at the second apron, can't sign an additional player until minimum salaries prorate on that date. Steve Kerr hints at surprise starter in Warriors opener versus Lakers. Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr isn't ready to reveal his opening night hand, even as the countdown to Tuesday's season opener against the Los Angeles Lakers winds down. Kerr confirmed that Moses Moody will miss the opener with a calf injury. At the same time, Jimmy Butler, ankle, and Jonathan Kuminga, ankle, are both questionable despite participating in scrimmages over the weekend. I feel pretty confident that Steph Curry will be in the starting lineup, Kerr deadpanned, flashing a grin. I've given it a lot of thought, and yeah, it took me a while, but I got there last night. Well, it's not so much that he's earned it. I don't believe in rewarding guys just for being one of the greatest players of all time and stuff like that. It's more about what his score on the computer was, to see if he passed the conditioning test. Curry, Draymond expected to lead veterans. While Kerr's comments were clearly tongue-in-cheek, there's no question Curry and Draymond Green will headline the starting group. The 37-year-old Curry averaged 21.7 minutes per game in the preseason, ramping up to 27 and 30 minutes in his final 2 outings as the Warriors' offense found its rhythm. Draymond will be out there. If Jimmy plays, Jimmy will be out there, Kerr added. And with Moses out, that's kind of the question, so BP, Brandon Podziemski, will be out there. The 5th spot could be Al. I'm being way too generous, I guess. Al Horford's workload will be managed carefully. Veteran center Al Horford, 39, the Warriors' marquee offseason acquisition, will have his workload closely managed throughout the year. Kerr said Horford will not play back-to-backs, which already eliminates 13 games from his schedule. Al is most likely going to play 50 or 60 games, somewhere in there, Kerr said. He's also probably playing 20 to 24 minutes max. You start a guy who's playing 20 minutes, it's hard to space those minutes over 48. He ends up sitting for a long time. Honestly, I haven't decided yet who's going to start on Tuesday for on. Jonathan Kuminga awaits his chance. If Horford sits, Kerr hinted that Kuminga could step into the lineup. The 23-year-old forward signed a 2-year, $48.5 million extension this month but enters the season without a guaranteed starting role. If it's not Al, it could be JK, Kerr said. It could be any one of a number of players, honestly. But what we have to think about is what that does to the rotation and what that means coming off the bench. Honestly, we haven't decided yet, and I've got to talk to guys as well. Kuminga averaged 7.0 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 4.0 assists in 4 preseason games while shooting 52.4% from the floor. However, his 3 turnovers per game remain an issue, one that Kerr emphasized the Warriors must clean up immediately. Kerr's focus, ball security and discipline. "We have to lean into the bench a little bit Tuesday night," Kerr said. "And obviously we've got to do two things better right out of the gate: take care of the ball and defend without fouling. Those are my focus points." With the Lakers looming and Kerr still deliberating over his fifth starter, one thing is clear: the Warriors' season will begin as it often does, with Curry leading, Kerr experimenting, and Golden State balancing veteran caution with youthful urgency. Warriors have obvious Jonathan Kuminga move thanks to Luka Doncic. They don't have an obvious answer otherwise. Starting the trio of Jimmy Butler, Jonathan Kuminga, and Draymond Green together might be painful for Steve Kerr based on his previous comments, but it might have to be done to combat Slovenian superstar Luka Doncic as the Golden State Warriors prepare to face the Los Angeles Lakers on opening night. Kerr revealed on Monday that he had settled on a starting five for Tuesday's game, yet wouldn't go as far as to declare what it was beyond the assumed quartet of Stephen Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Butler, and Green. Warriors might need Jonathan Kuminga to guard Luka Doncic. With Moses Moody sidelined by a calf injury, the answer on who will be the fifth starter appears to come down to Kuminga or Al Horford. The latter was seen as Golden State's starting center entering the season, but recent comments from Kerr regarding Horford's 20-minute-per-game threshold has thrown that into some uncertainty. Horford could still start against the Lakers at Crypto.com Arena on Tuesday, giving the Warriors more of a traditional starting five from a position and size standpoint. However, that would leave them without an obvious matchup for Doncic, one of the MVP favorites heading into the season. Kerr won't want to burn out Butler or Green by making them defend Doncic primarily throughout the course of the game, while Curry and Podziemski are both obviously undersized. That means that Golden State might have to start smaller purely due to Doncic's presence, with Kuminga perhaps the best answer for the 5x All-Star given Moody's unavailability. Standing at 6 feet 7 inches with elite athleticism, Kuminga certainly has the physical tools to guard Doncic in a way many of his teammates don't. Whether he has the smarts and discipline to do it effectively is another question, but it's not like he hasn't been given a similar task before after being the team's best answer against Anthony Edwards in last season's second-round playoff elimination at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves. Having Kuminga on Doncic would likely leave Podziemski on Austin Reeves, Curry on Gabe Vincent, Butler on Rui Hachimura, and Green on DeAndre Ayton in what appears like a game where both teams have some defensive concerns. Doncic has averaged a stunning 31.4 points, 9.2 rebounds, and 10.0 assists in his last 10 games against the Warriors, including a mammoth 45-point, 11-rebound, 13-assist performance in December last year when he was still with the Dallas Mavericks. Warriors make big decision on Al Horford's playing time for 2026 NBA season. As the Golden State Warriors fell to the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Western Conference semifinals, losing in 5 games after dropping 4 straight following a Game 1 victory, the series unraveled when Stephen Curry suffered a hamstring injury. Without Curry, the Warriors struggled to generate consistent offense and turned the ball over more times than they did all year, averaging 15 turnovers per game in the series. NCOs display Sean Payton's blueprint for toughness in win vs. Giants. While Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga stepped up admirably, and Kuminga averaged 20.8 points, 3.0 rebounds, and 1.2 assists against the Timberwolves, the lack of depth and the physical toll of the postseason became apparent. The Warriors' cautious approach with newly acquired Al Horford stems directly from the lessons they learned during last season's disappointing playoff series against the Timberwolves. Kerr confirms load management. Head coach Steve Kerr confirmed on Monday that the team will have a strict load management plan for the 39-year-old big man throughout the year. Steve Kerr reconfirmed that Al Horford will not play both ends of the Warriors' back-to-backs this season, according to Kenzo Fukuda. Golden State has 15 back-to-backs this season. Whether Horford sits the front or back end will be very depending on the situation and decided with Rick Celebrini, Fukuda mentioned. Horford is entering his 18th NBA season, making him one of the oldest active players in the league. The physical toll of an 82-game season, combined with the Warriors' fast-paced system, makes load management essential for this Golden State team. By resting Horford periodically, Golden State can keep him fresh for critical matchups and, more importantly, the postseason. Horford's impact. Despite the age on the calendar, Horford remains incredibly effective. Last season with the Celtics, he averaged 9.0 points, 6.2 rebounds, and 2.1 assists across 60 regular season appearances while averaging 27.6 minutes in a versatile role. His basketball IQ, positioning, and ability to space the floor are skills that won't go away with age. His ability to stretch defenses creates perfect spacing for Stephen Curry and the Warriors' motion offense. Playing just 20 minutes per night in a reserve role could maximize his impact while preserving his body, because his game has never relied on elite athleticism. If Golden State can keep Horford healthy and effective through May and June, this load management strategy will look smart. He's a high IQ player whose impact comes from passing, solid screen setting, and veteran leadership, so he can thrive in a reduced role throughout the season, and the Warriors will certainly need his presence. He's set to make his regular season debut with the Warriors on Tuesday when they face the Los Angeles Lakers at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As expected, Warriors waive Seth Curry. Some expected maneuvering. With the preseason concluded, the Golden State Warriors made a move over the weekend that would be shocking if you haven't been following the team closely, and completely expected if you have been. On Saturday, the team announced that veteran guard Seth Curry had been waived. This was not only expected, but necessary. The Warriors don't have the cap space to carry 15 players on their roster for the entirety of the season. When they signed Seth, Steph Curry's brother, to an Exhibit 9 contract, it was reported that it came with a handshake deal to waive the younger Curry before the season began, and re-sign him at a later date. Because NBA contracts are prorated, the Warriors can re-sign Curry to a veteran's minimum contract in mid-November, and fit tidily under the salary apron. The move allowed Curry to spend training camp with his soon-to-be new team. He got acclimated with the offensive and defensive schemes, built chemistry and rapport with his teammates and coaching staff, and got to be a part of the team. Now he'll wait patiently for the better part of a month, and rejoin the team as a quality veteran sharpshooter off the bench. Curry didn't appear in any preseason games, as Steve Kerr prioritized that playing time for players who will be playing when the season begins tomorrow, as well as youngsters in need of development. Last year, while playing for the Charlotte Hornets, the 11-year veteran averaged 6.5 points, 1.7 rebounds, and 0.9 assists in 15.6 minutes per game, while leading the NBA with a 45.6% mark from three-point range. In addition to Curry, the Warriors announced that undrafted rookie L.J. Cryer had been waived. Cryer made a serious impression on the Warriors and the coaching staff during camp, and will surely be on the Santa Cruz Warriors when the G League season begins. Don't be surprised if he takes one of the two-way contract spots at some point this year. Currently those three spots are held by Pat Spencer, Alex Tui, and Jackson Rowe. Warriors Draymond Green sends blunt warning to rising 6'5" guard, be careful. The Golden State Warriors are entering a pivotal 2025-26 NBA season with their legendary 37-year-old point guard Stephen Curry, 35-year-old small ball center Draymond Green and 36-year-old ex-Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler at the helm. Golden State's top-end talent continues to age despite their remaining belief that they can compete for a championship, but their 2023 All-Rookie first-team guard Brandon Podziemski recently established a change of pace by publicly offering to serve as the Warriors' bridge to the future. Upon hearing this declaration, Green offered a few positive words to the young combo guard. However, a portion of Green's message turned out to be a critical reminder that his detractors will always be waiting to use his own words and aspirations against him. To hear Podziemski say that, "It's exciting," Green shared with The Athletic's Nick Friedell on Monday morning. "But as a leader, for him, you also understand what that comes with. And so with him I say, be careful. Don't tell people too much. Because the more you tell people, the more they try to use it against you and tear you down. And like I said, as a leader you want the young fella next to you grinding and wanting to take that. That's what you want. But talk to us about it. Don't tell everybody else. Don't let them use it against you." So he will be that, no question, but it ain't his time to be that yet. At just 22 years old, Podziemski's maturity is certainly commendable with regard to both his intentions and on-court tendencies. Heading into his third NBA season, The gritty two-way guard will be expected to take another step forward on the offensive end to relieve some of the pressure that's saddled with Curry and Butler on a nightly basis. Even still, Podziemski is just as concerned with the future well-being of the organization. With a few of the Warriors staples' future Hall of Famers getting ready to call in quits in the near future, it may be easy for a young player like Podziemski to contemplate the future and what life post-Curry will look like. For the moment, though, Green wants his mind to be in the present and for his focus to remain on helping this current iteration of the Warriors win another NBA title. In 64 appearances with the Warriors in 2024-25, Podziemski contributed 11.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, 3.4 assists and 1.1 steals while knocking down 37.2% of his looks from three-point range and placed number 2 in the NBA with 0.32 charges drawn.